Hey guys, how's it going? This is Max. So today what I'm going to be doing is teaching you how to drive a stick shift vehicle, also known as a manual or a standard. So I'm going to mainly just talk about, what the differences are between a stick shift vehicle and an automatic. Just a couple little things here and there, obviously. And then just kind of teaching you the basics of how to get started with, getting the car to go. What are some kind of, best methods and what you should do for practice. What I'd recommend for something like this is get yourself in an open area where there's either a large parking lot or some kind of industrial area, meaning where there's like just empty roads for trucks and whatnot. Like right now I'm at an industrial like loading dock where there's no trucks, there's nobody here, so it's a pretty good place to kind of learn, because the whole thing is going to be a learning process. It's going to have to be, you're going to have to engage yourself, practice a lot. Practice makes perfect. It's not going to be guaranteed to be perfect right away, but that's why you practice. I'm just going to basically just show you guys how to drive a stick shift. I hope you guys enjoy. So first things first, if you've never been in a stick shift vehicle before, this is obviously what you're going to see that's different. With an auto, you're going to have, park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then the low gears. This one, you're just going to have, either a 5-speed or a 6-speed. This one, in this case, is a 6-speed, so, you're going to have your motions first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And for reverse, it's kind of vary on, whatever car you're in. I think with the European cars, reverse is going to be all the way to the far left and up. For Japanese cars like the Nissan I have here, this one's going to be one of those where you have to push down, go all the way to the right and down. So that right there is what reverse would look like. And then now go ahead into the pedals. Now the pedals, obviously in a stick shift vehicle, there's going to be one, two, and three. So obviously the far right, you have the accelerator pedal. The one in the middle, that's going to be the brake. And the one on the far left is going to be the clutch. And then, don't pay no mind to that one. That's just a footrest. So obviously with an automatic, you're just going to have, I'm just putting my foot there. You're just going to have the gas and the brake. So obviously, again, if you've not been in a stick shift car, you're going to see that little guy right there. So I'll go ahead and get into the first introduction now on how to get a vehicle moving that's stick shift. Okay, so the other component of a stick shift car you're going to be using pretty frequently is going to be the parking brake. So obviously with an automatic car, you're going to have just the gear shift, park, reverse, neutral, drive, and so on. You're going to have the car in park, so there's really no need for the parking brake to be applied. But for a stick shift, it's a little bit different, because when you park your car, some people like to just park the car in gear and leave the brake down. You could do it like that, it works out just fine, but I always like to do at least two for sure, just to know that the car is not going to go anywhere, especially if you live in hilly areas. It's always good to have the handbrake applied, but you can do either or. It's really your preference, whatever is easier for you. You could just do just the handbrake, keep this in neutral, or you could do vice versa. Or me, I just prefer to keep it like in first or second gear. I'd like to keep it in park. And then that'll just ensure me that the car is not going to go anywhere. So now I'll go ahead and touch on how to get the car started. Alrighty, so now that you know where everything is, so the clutch, the gear shift, the parking brake, now we'll go ahead and get the car started. So first thing, again, you want to make sure that your gear shift is in neutral position, so moving it side to side, that'll indicate it's in neutral. Then the next thing you want to do, obviously this car is a push to start. It is not a key ignition vehicle. So here's my key fob. Make sure that that's in the vehicle. A lot of the Nissans are going to have the fobs. So make sure that's in the vehicle. Then on the bottom here, looking at the pedals, again, you have the three. The one on the very left right here, you want to go ahead and just plant that to the floor. Push it all the way in. And then once you have that pushed in, you'll get this little indicator on some cars where it'll tell you, the clutch is engaged. Now you just have to push the button to start it or turn the key. So now we'll go ahead and start the vehicle. Perfect. Alrighty, so now we got everything started. All the gauges are on. You got your clock and everything. So right now you're in neutral. Now we'll just go ahead and just get into getting the vehicle moving. So hope you guys enjoy that segment. So the first thing you're going to start with, when you're starting to drive forward in a stick shift vehicle, again, you know, this is after you turn the vehicle on. Right now you should be standing somewhat like this with the parking brake engaged, you know, in neutral obviously since the vehicle is on. Feet are off the pedal. But the important thing with, you know, getting the start of, you know, just learning where the bite point is on the clutch, go ahead and press the clutch in a few times first just to kind of get adjusted. You know, push it in and out a few times until you really know, you know, how the clutch feels. Because on a lot of cars, you know, it's going to be different. One's going to be, you know, a lot more solid and springy, or it's going to be kind of, you know, loose and, you know, just, I don't know. It's different with each car. That's the other thing you also need to remember. You know, being in a Nissan 370Z, the clutch is a little bit more springier. It kind of flings back at you, so it's a little bit of a challenging car, but it's still easy. I mean, I'll kind of give you a history of myself on this at one point in the video of when I started, and then you'll kind of, you know, get an idea of how I started with this car as my first stick shift vehicle. Anyway, so kind of getting into what's going to happen. You know, the first thing you want to do just right now is put your foot on the brake. So it's going to be that middle pedal that I showed you in the first clip. Then just go ahead and release the handbrake. And then again, with first gear being all the way to the left and up. So when you're gonna put it in gear, put the clutch all the way to the floor, move the gear shift to the left and push up. So it should look something like that. So again, so handbrake down, your foot's already on the brake, put the clutch in, grab the shifter all the way left, all the way up. So that's first gear for you. So another thing is too, I'll kind of get into this, I'm not going to get into it now, but anyway, so once you have it in gear, the one thing you need to do is remove or kind of move off the clutch slowly, lift off of it slowly. You can release the brake a little bit and then just kind of feather the clutch. So kind of go up slowly, don't give it any gas, just kind of play with it until you see where it's biting and when it starts going. Because at one point it bites and then the transmission kicks in with the motor and then it just starts going. See, like right now I'm not doing anything. The clutch engaged with the vehicle or with the motor, and now the car is moving. So I'll go ahead and just put this back into neutral and then just stop again. So again, repeating that, so your handbrake is down, clutch all the way to the floor, far left and up, and then just feather out the clutch. Don't give it any gas. And then the car should kind of shake a little, but it'll move. And then I'll get into giving it more gas. I rode over a speed bump, sorry about that. Okay, so now I'll kind of show you the perfect RPMs to start moving. First I'll show you the RPMs, just kind of showing you while I'm feathering the clutch, just releasing it, giving it no gas, and then again using the clutch and the gas. So I'll show you that in another segment here. Okay, I'll do my very best to show you guys with this this clutch. Right now I'm in neutral, or this gauge, I'm sorry. I'm in neutral, so the car is warmed up. So I'm right around 650 RPMs right now. So again, I'm gonna just show you with feathering the clutch. So again, I put the clutch all the way to the floor, gear shift all the way to the left and up, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and feather. I'm off the brake, so you'll see the RPM start dropping a little. But don't let it drop too much, you know, keep feathering until the car starts moving. And then you can kind of see, I'm not giving it any gas, it's just engaged and moving on its own. So now I'm gonna go ahead and stop, put it in neutral, and then go ahead and just apply the brake to make sure we're not rolling. Now with getting, I guess like another, you know, start with the gas, the best rev range is gonna be usually 1500. Usually that's 12 and 1500, so I'll kind of give it a little gas to show you where it needs to be. Right around there at most, right in that field, somewhere between 1200 and 1500, right in there. So that's kind of, you know, the best spot to start a car moving. So right now, I'll go ahead and start by moving with the gas, not feathering the clutch and not using the gas, but this is going to be using a little bit of gas this time. So I'm sorry if this sounds confusing, I do apologize. But anyway, so now again, clutch to the floor, gear shift all the way left into first. Now we'll give it just a bit of gas and we're moving. So now we'll go ahead and stop, put it in neutral. And again, clutch to the floor first. Give it gas. Sometimes you can give it less. I can do it with, you know, like 600 RPM even. But anyway, so that's the kind of the best range to get a car going. So now we'll kind of, you know, try rowing through the gears, you know, and I'll show you the best RPMs to switch at. Okay, I hope you guys can bear with me with my little tack camera. I have to kind of do it a little weird. But I'm just gonna kind of show you how to just, you know, go through at least the first 3 gears and the best, you know, RPMs to switch gears at. Usually the first gear is always gonna be the highest RPM to kind of get a smooth transition to second. So usually on, like, being that this is a little bit of a sportier car, you can give it a little bit more revs to kind of switch it smoothly into the next gear. Usually in the first gear I go right around 3K, so 3,000, and then switch to second, and then same thing from second to third. I go ahead and move it, or I go ahead and do 3,000 again, go into third. And then kind of as I go into the higher gears, 4, 5, and 6, you know, I kind of do it maybe 2,800 rounds, or 2,800 rounds, 2,800 RPMs. So you'll kind of see my hand motions on that. Right now I'm just going to show you the dash cluster with when I'm shifting gears. So let's go ahead and get that going here. Okay, so I'm starting off. I'm going to give it some gas to get it going. And again, it's on my steering wheel, so I have to make a turn here, so bear with me on that. Okay, so just a moment, let me get onto some flat road. So I'm already going a couple miles an hour, so right around 3,000 shift, keep going, another 3,000 shift. I'm in third gear now, so speed limit's 30 here, so I'm gonna just, you know, stick it at 30. So right now I'm in third gear cruising right at a little bit over 2,000 RPMs. So this is kind of, you know, the shifting for this car. But usually for any car from first to second, it's always best to hit it in a higher gear just so it transitions a little bit smoothly. And then that you just saw, there's a downshift. That'll be a separate video. Alrighty, now I'll show you kind of my hand view with how my shifter is when I shift 1, 2, 3. Alright, so I hope you guys can kind of see that. It's a little weird. But anyway, so this is how it's going to look like. You're going to be first, you're going to be second, and then third. So being that this is a 30 speed limit, I'll kind of show you just like the hand motions of what it's supposed to look like. So again, you know, we'll go put the handbrake down, put the clutch all the way to the floor, all the way left in first, and I'm going to give it a little bit of gas to get it going, and then we're going. So I got a stop sign right in front of me here. So we're going to brake and neutral that. Okay, and then complete stop, same thing. Clutch to the floor first, and then let off the clutch slowly, give it a little bit of gas, and then drive. So again, the perfect time to hit into the next gear is right around 3,000 RPMs. A little bit more, you can maybe do 3,200. So I'm shifting right between 3,000 RPMs. First, second, now I'm in third gear. So I will do another loop just to kind of show you what that looks like. I'm just going to reach the end of the street here and then turn around real quick. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and get on the side here. Again, just sit here. Okay, everything's in neutral. Again, starting from the beginning, clutch in, go into first gear. You could either feather the clutch off and give it, or give it just a little bit of gas too. You know, it's whatever, you know, whatever works for you. You kind of have to try it. So again, I'll show you that one more time. So clutch all the way to the floor first, clutch out a little bit, give it gas, release at the same time, and now you're good. So we're gonna do 3,000, second gear, and then again 3,000, third gear. So basically how it's gonna work is when you're working, like, it's gonna take a while for you to get used to releasing the clutch and giving gas at the same time, because it's something that takes time. It's being swift. You're gonna kind of have to do one of these things. I'll show you more. So again, 3,000 RPM, go into second. Again, hit 3,000, go into third. And then I'll kind of go a little bit more with how to, I could probably hit fourth gear. So I'm gonna shift here into fourth, 2800 RPM. So this is fourth gear right here. And then we'll just go ahead and stop. Just gonna neutral that real quick. And then let's see. Perfect, okay. Alrighty, now I'll kind of get into the swiftness of it all, of how your feet should look like. So let me get that in another segment for you. Okay, so the whole thing with, like, this is always the confusing part, when to give the right amount of gas and the right amount of clutch to get the car going. The important thing is, so let's say my left hand is my clutch, right hand is my brake and my gas. So let's just kind of show you how this would look like. So let's say we put the parking brake down. This is going to be my right foot. It's on the brake right now. And then I have this one pushed all the way down, so the clutch is all the way in. And then let's just say we're in first gear. I switch this foot to the gas, and then right as I give it a little bit of gas, you see the RPM start rising, and then you slowly let off with your left foot and then give it gas continuously. And then from there you should be moving. So again, it should be kind of something like this. So again, so left foot's in, right foot comes in, gives it gas. As the RPMs climb, you let off that left foot, let off the clutch a little, and then pretty much you're going to be completely off, so you're giving gas at this point and the car is going forward. That's pretty much what it looks like. It's all about kind of being swift and getting into this motion, because obviously your left foot is not going to be used to something like that. So it's all about practicing that kind of motion. You know, again, in the parking lot, you're going to have to do this just back to back. You know, maybe even let off the gas. Don't even do gas, but just work with your foot, you know, with that pedal. Just learn to find the bite point of that clutch. And then, you know, as you do it, then you put the other foot in, and now you start just doing a little bit of gas, letting off the clutch, and then it starts going. So you'll kind of see me doing that. I'm going to do a few test drives, and then you'll kind of see how the car will start moving. So here's another view again of, so we got the handbrake up, putting that down. My foot's on the brake right now just to make sure the car doesn't roll anywhere. Put the clutch in all the way left into first, and then right now I'm just going to feather off the clutch. I'm not going to give it gas, and then you'll see it starts shaking a little bit, but then it starts going on its own. So that flywheel's engaged with the motor, and then it starts going. So again, now I'm in neutral. I braked on the car. Now I'm just gonna go from first to second in here. So you'll see that right around 3,000 RPMs is gonna be the best shift point from first to second for a smooth transition. So right now, clutch is to the floor. We're gonna go into first, give it gas and go. 3,000, clutch in, shift to second, and then clutch in, shift to third. And I'm running out of road here, so I'm gonna just kind of brake here. Okay, now we'll repeat that one more time. So clutch to the floor, we're in first, now we're moving. Hit 3,000, clutch in, shift to second. Go for 3,000 one more time, clutch in, shift to third. And then we'll probably hit fourth here. Do right around 2,800, clutch in, shift to fourth. And then let off the clutch each time. So it's pretty much something with just getting used to, you know, rolling through the gears. The best thing I could probably recommend is just maybe when your car is not on, just roll through the gears a couple times, just so you can kind of see, you know, where each gear is, just so you don't get confused while you're actually driving. Alrighty. The other thing to remember is too, when you're shifting gears, in between each gear shift, so when you do first to second, you're gonna have to release the clutch each time that you switch into the next gear. So right now we'll go into first, we'll start driving, taking a right turn here. So I push the clutch in, go into second, slowly release the clutch and give it gas at the same time. Same thing, put the clutch in, go into third, release the clutch, give it gas at the same time. And then if I hit fourth, it's going to be the same. So push the clutch in, switch to fourth, let off the clutch slowly, give it gas at the same time. And I'm just going to downshift real quick. Don't pay attention to those. I'll do those as a separate segment because that's a whole nother procedure to learn. But anyway, it's pretty much that kind of, you know, swiftness, pretty much just driving, you know, going first to second, and then once you put the clutch in and switch to second, then you let off the clutch slowly and you give it gas a little bit at the same time, and then repeat for the rest of the gears. So I'll do that one more time for you guys, just a second. Let me figure out where I'm at here. Okay. Alright, you gotta make some turns here. Okay, so again, you put it in first, get up to 3,000, clutch in, second, let off clutch slowly, give it a little gas, and then keep on going with however, you know, until you reach the maximum gear if you're on a highway or something. But, you know, here we're in an industrial area, so we're right around 30 miles per hour.